About 6 months ago, my fellow YouTuber Steven Taylor published a video called Secrets Pro Drummers Don't Want You to Know. I've been a fan of Steven's for ages, and I'm sure the video was tongue-in-cheek. After all, it's not like Vinny is sitting on the secret to play like him, and if we just discovered it, everyone would sound like he does. Sir, what if we just released the secret and charge a lot of money for it? We could be rich beyond our wildest dreams. Silence! No one must know this secret! Any more than those private jet traveling, Maserati driving Instagram stars have stumbled on a secret to becoming wealthy that, say, Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio neglected to tell us about. Besides, it's easy to lease a Maserati when thousands of desperate people are paying you for seminars. But there is a kernel of truth to Steven's video. Great drummers do have skills mediocre drummers don't. I think there are 3 primary ones, and they aren't probably going to tell you about them. But not because they don't want you to know, for another, and in my opinion, far more interesting reason. What those secrets are, and why great drummers are not going to tell you in this video. Stay tuned. I like to make side-by-side comparisons on this channel. Here's Eric Harland playing with Ben Wendell. Now, here's a beginner playing a similar beat. If you ask people on the street what they think separates Eric Harland from average drummers, I can tell you exactly what answers you're going to get because they're all the answers I get in my comments. Chops. Talent. It's his chops. He's born with it. He's really fast. Look, some people are just born with it. Speed of his hands. You can't teach that. If you ask great drummers what they did to get that great, they'll give a similarly limited range of answers. Paradiddles, rudiments, double paradiddles, play on pillows, play along to Sly and the Family Stone, singles and doubles, the 26 Essential. I did the Dennis Chambers DVD on pots and pans. Triple paradiddles, bro. Disclaimer, you should absolutely practice paradiddles. And there's almost a 1-to-1 correlation between great technical drummers and locking themselves in a practice room for 3 to 6 hours a day. I'm not saying it's sufficient, but it appears to be necessary. So, the main differences between great drummers and mediocre ones are chops and they were born with it. And we should halfway practice paradiddles, but not too much because they were born with it and will never be as good as they are anyway. Nope. Sorry. I'm gonna call BS. Let's run a little thought experiment. If chops and paradiddles were all there was, you'd expect to see 2 things. First, you'd expect anybody who got extremely fast hands to sound great across the board, right? Come on, that's what you said. You said it's paradiddles and practicing on pillows, so put your money where your mouth is. Good. Next, we'd expect to see all great drummers have amazing hands. And furthermore, anytime you compared a great drummer to an average one, you'd expect the difference to be chops, right? Great, let's run that experiment. Here's Steve Jordan playing with John Mayer. Steve's playing 0 chops in this clip. So if we compared him to an average or journeyman drummer, we'd expect there to be no difference, right? Because it's all about those singles and practicing on pillows. Here's a cover of that same song. Just to spell this out, you're discovering the same things I did over the years. There are mediocre drummers with great hands, and there are examples of great drummers playing great, which, when you juxtapose them against clips of average drummers, you can tell there's a difference, one that has nothing to do with chops. So there's something else. Some hidden other thing that makes great drummers great. And it's 3 things they won't talk about much, unless you know what to ask. Steve, what's the difference between the way you play a beat versus the way a mediocre drummer plays one? That's a better question. And Steve would probably have a better answer. In fact, he did.
Once you really get in there and really break down time and really slow things down, you can really see and feel the beauty of the space between 2 notes.
So what are these 3 secrets of great drummers they'd probably tell you if you asked a better question? The first is feel. Feel is the thing we capture in a net when we compare clips of great drummers playing groove to clips of mediocre drummers playing groove. It encapsulates 3 things: time, touch, and locking up with the band. Let's look at examples of each. This past January, I shared a clip of Thomas Pridgen playing alongside a less experienced drummer. This is Thomas Pridgen, playing at Bentley's drum shop in 2015. Thomas isn't actually alone. He's playing with another guy. You can hear that guy clearly when Thomas switches drums.
Dude, keep playing.
The difference is a type of time, or timing. Thomas has a consistent distance between his subdivisions, like this. While the other guy has a less consistent distance, so his beat sounds more like this. Next, let's talk about touch, which is related to one of the other things I'm going to speak about later on. My favorite example to illustrate this is Chad Smith playing with Flea. Versus this other guy playing with Flea. In this comparison, the other guy has decent time, and he's not making any big coordination mistakes. He's just not using the right touch, putting more weight into the kick, getting the rim shots, and yes, playing with the necessary volume and intensity. That's what we call touch. Finally, there's lockup. I'm scripting this before I even look for clips, but I guarantee you there's a cover of Josh Redman's Jazz Crimes. That's lacking lockup. Hear how closely the band is together in the original? And not in the cover? I'm also going to go out on a limb and guess I would see the same thing if I searched covers of Snarky Puppy's What About Me? Original. Cover. Lockup goes above and beyond being able to play the drums well in isolation. It's about finding where the band is and staying with them. And that whole enchilada is just secret one. But are you starting to see what I mean about the secret thing? It's not like any great drummer is sitting behind a desk somewhere going, "Don't tell them about feel." It's more like nobody asks them about that. How do you play so fast? How do you play so many chops? How'd your hands get so fast? How'd your feet get so fast? No wonder they were always telling us, paradiddles, rudiments, double paradiddles, play on pillows. If we actually asked them an intelligent question, we'd probably get Steve's answer.
Once you really get in there and really break down time and really slow things down, you can really see and feel the beauty of the space between two notes.
Anyway, on to secret numero dos. Secret 2, hit control. My favorite comparison is that between the Blue Devils and this high school drum line. You want to be able to play together with yourself. Like this. Instead of this. That has two components. First, your limbs are playing precisely together when they're supposed to be, instead of flamming. Second, you're getting the sounds you intend to from the drums, like hitting in the center of the toms. Instead of the rims. And getting clean rim shots instead of inconsistent ones. And finally, playing in the center of the snare when you intend to. Just like feel, once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. These are secrets, but they're hidden in plain sight. Before we get to number 3, let's talk a little bit about why great drummers might not think to tell you those secrets. In my opinion, it's mainly because they don't know you don't know. David Foster Wallace gave a graduation speech that's since become famous about 2 fish. One says to the other, "Wow, the water's nice today." The other replies, "What's water?" Eric Hyland's had great kick control for so long, he probably doesn't remember what it's like not to have it. Eric and Steve have had great feel for so long, they don't even know it's difficult. And there's another thing great drummers do so intuitively, they take their ability to do it for granted, and might not even know what they're doing is unique. Improvisational flow. To illustrate this one, I'd like to use an excerpt from my video on how to stop sounding like a beginner from last month. The most underrated difference between beginners and not beginners is what you might call their drum linguistics. For an analogy, think of Mark Juliana or Justin Tyson like Neil deGrasse Tyson. They've got huge vocabularies and the ability to string complex sentences together without any ums or ahs. Here's Justin playing. And here's Neil speaking.
More than half the stars you see in the night sky are binary or multiple systems.
What you don't want to sound like on the drums is this.
Once upon a time.
But here's the crux. You don't have to sound like either Tyson to speak in complete thoughts. Think of Clint Eastwood.
You see, in this world, there's 2 kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig.
What great drummers do is speak in complete musical sentences, whether it's Neil deGrasse Tyson or Clint Eastwood. Here's a somewhat more complex example. And here's a simpler one. This is different from chops. You can find examples of choppy fills and solos that repeat boring patterns or start and stop in awkward places, and plenty of examples of non-choppy fills and solos that have continuity, originality, and a good musical arc. So there you have it. 3 sort of secrets great drummers are on top of, but probably wouldn't tell you, not because they're keeping it a secret, but because they either don't know it's a thing or don't know you don't know. But when I discovered these 3 things, my playing took a jump. Anyway, if you accept my thesis that there are 3 sort of hidden things that make great drummers better than we are, you might be willing to follow me a little deeper into the rabbit hole. You might be willing to check out some of my courses, like the coaching course or the practice course, both of which delve way deep into this stuff, and both of which we only open a few times a year and only open to people on my mailing list. And if you'd like to sign up for my mailing list by clicking on the link below the player and entering your email address in on the next page, I would like to bribe you with 3 video mini courses that I'll send to you in 3 weeks, completely free, which I assert will improve your playing more in the next 3 weeks than it's improved in the previous 6 months. I know once you experience the instruction, you'll be willing to go as deep with me as you need to. Or not. Either way, it's great. Dudes, it's been real. Try one more time. Okay, good.